Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to use the Traxxas Link application on your mobile device to connect to the car and tune the car. So stick around and I'll show you how it's done. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and take the body off the car. That way we can go ahead and put the battery to it and turn the power on. So now that we have the body off the car, the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put the battery in. So I'm using a Traxxas 3000 milliamp hour 2-cell LiPo battery. Then go ahead and connect the battery to the ESC. The next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and get your transmitter for the car and turn it on. Now that you have your transmitter on, you can go ahead and turn the car on. So the next thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and download the Traxxas Link app if you haven't already. And if you've already downloaded it, go ahead and open it up on your mobile device. So I'll get back with you when I open up the Traxxas Link app. Okay, so now that you have your transmitter and car turned on, you're ready to go ahead and open up the Traxxas Link application. So we'll go ahead and do that. So when you open the Traxxas Link application, it comes up with this nice screen. You can tap it to skip it if you want. So I'll go ahead and skip it. So it's really easy to connect your transmitter to your device. All you have to do is make sure Bluetooth is turned on the device, which I can do by swiping down from the top. And you can see Bluetooth right next to the Wi-Fi is turned on. So once you go ahead and hit the done button, you'll be into the main screen of the app. So you can go ahead and click on the Traxxas Link wireless module icon. And then it will ask you to use Bluetooth, and you can allow it. And then go ahead and turn the transmitter on and press the wireless link button. So your transmitter is already on, so just go ahead and press the wireless link button on the back. And then the blue light on the transmitter will flash, and then press number 3, press here to search for the Traxxas Link. And then it's connected. It was that easy. Then you can see in the top left corner, it tells you how much battery your transmitter has left, and that it's green, it's connected. And then you also see the vehicle icon in the top right is green, which means that it is connected as well. So we'll hit home and go back. So now we can see that we're connected to the TEC Drift. So the TEC Drift has the Drift Tune Traxxas Stability Management. So they call it TSM Drift. So TSM Drift makes millisecond fast steering and throttle adjustments to help maintain precise drift angles and prevent spinouts. There's 3 different modes for TSM Drift, and to access the different modes, you come in here to the application, go to your garage, go ahead and hit Traxxas Stability Management up at the top, and when you come in here for the first time, you'll be in TSM Drift mode, and you'll see the settings like this: steering angle at 50% roughly, steering reflex at 50%, throttle reflex at 50%, and spin out assist turned on. So TSM Drift is profile number 1, and it's the default setting. It'll activate both electronic throttle and steering aids to make it easier to drift. So what that means is as the car rotates in the turn, this mode modulates steering angle and throttle input to help maintain the desired drift angle. So the steering reflex percent controls how much steering input that the TSM provides from 0% to 100. And then throttle reflex is determining how much throttle input TSM provides from 0 to 100%. And spin out assist is a function that will quickly reduce throttle and provide maximum steering input to help prevent a spin out. So then you can click at the top TSM in the middle, and this is the second mode, profile number 2. It's very similar to TSM Drift, but it doesn't provide the throttle input. This mode is similar to the TSM mode used on many of Traxxas's models to maintain stability on loose surfaces. And then finally, you have profile number 3, gyro, which is designed as the third step in the progression chain. If you're coming from other drift cars, this would be the mode I would recommend starting in. So in this mode, TSM operates like a traditional drift gyro. So in this mode, the only adjustment you have is gyro gain, which controls how sensitive TSM is to any movement that makes the car yaw, like turn sideways. The higher you set the percentage, the more sensitive the TSM will be. And if you run your car on a rougher surface like rough concrete, you'll need to lower the gyro gain, or TSM will be constantly making adjustments, and it'll, like, the front wheels will be like wobbling back and forth. And so you need to turn it down to where it's barely doing that at all. But you want it as high as possible to help you maintain control in the drift. So I've been driving the car a little bit, and I found that I like steering angle turned up to 100%, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then the gyro gain, so when I'm outside on my rough concrete driveway that I found that 30% is as high as you would want to go, or the car starts to twitch a lot. So then we'll go back to the main menu. So from the main menu, you can click on Drive Effects. And when you do, you'll be brought up to this page right here. And you'll see you have TSM assistance percent, steering sensitivity, throttle sensitivity, steering percent, braking percent, and throttle trim. So the TSM assistance percent, as you can see, is 30%. So that's just where we set our gyro gain in the previous screen. So the first one, steering sensitivity, is just exponential. And what that means is it makes the servo's travel change exponentially relative to the input from the steering wheel. So the standard setting for exponential is 0%. And what that means is that the servo's response will be linear. As you turn the wheel on the transmitter, the servo will respond exactly the same. So as you turn the percent up like this, you'll be decreasing steering sensitivity by making the servo less responsive near neutral, and increasing sensitivity as the servo nears its limits. So what that means is, like, right around the center part of the steering, the servo won't move as fast as it will towards the limits. So if you turned your steering wheel all the way to the right, then the servo wouldn't be as twitchy towards the center of the steering. And then throttle sensitivity is exactly the same thing, but just for the throttle. But do note that only forward throttle is effective. Brake and reverse travel will remain linear. So then you see steering percent, and that's dual rate. What dual rate is it controls the amount of servo travel applied to the steering. Turning the knob clockwise will deliver maximum steering throw, and turning it counterclockwise will decrease steering throw. If you turn it all the way down, then the servo will not move at all. So that's the steering percent that you could adjust in the TSM mode. So in the manual for the car, Traxxas says that many racers set dual rate so they only have as much steering as they need to go around the tightest turn on the racetrack, which allows the car to become easier to drive, and it will also make the car easier to control on high traction surfaces. So then you have your braking percent, which is just the same as your steering percent. If you keep it at 100% like it is from the factory, when you go full brake on your transmitter, it'll actually lock the rear tires up. So that's a way to help you initiate a drift. It's like pulling a handbrake, but it's linear. So if you just go a little bit, it'll just apply a little bit of brake, which will help you maintain the drift or keep you from hitting the wall or anything. So when I've been messing with the car, I've been using the handbrake a little. But if you're going into a really tight turn and you hit the handbrake, it'll lock the motor from responding to to throttle, and it'll hold it for like a second or two, but it's a little too long if you're in a really tight place. So to initiate in that, I would just go full brake, and that way it'll like yank the handbrake, but it goes right back to power when I need it. So then over here on the right next to steering percent, you can see the a knob with a red ring around it. So what that means is the multifunction knob on your transmitter controls that setting in the application here. So what that means is that the multifunction knob on the transmitter controls that setting within the car. So you could have it set to TSM assistance, which would mean that now you would be able to turn the multifunction knob and adjust the gyro gain. So if you wanted to, you could have your steering set at 100%, and if you knew you always ran it at 100%, then I would recommend putting it on TSM assistance. That way, depending on your surface type you're on, you can adjust the gyro gain off the transmitter. Then you don't have to log into the app each time. So we'll go back to home, and then you can also set profiles, and you can save a profile if you create a profile that you like for a surface. So we'll go ahead and save this profile, and you click up here in the top right, save profile, and then the name, I'm going to call it rough concrete. And go ahead and save it, and there we go. So then if I wanted to, I could go back to home and go into the garage, TSM, and then gyro, and then gyro gain. I could change it to 60%. So I'll put the gyro gain up at 60%. And you see how, I don't know if this is the way with every car, but mine, whatever the transmitter is adjusting, it jumps around a little bit. So I don't know if that's just a problem with this transmitter or that's with everyone. But we'll put it at 60 roughly. Go back to garage, home, and then profiles. And then I will save this one as a hardwood floor. So do note that whatever you have your transmitter controlling, when you change profile, that setting will not change because it's directly linked to your transmitter's multifunction knob setting. So that's going to do it for this video. This was just a quick little overview showing you how to set up and use the Traxxas Link app with your TEC drift. I hope you found it useful. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section. I'll be glad to try to help you if you have any problems. Thanks for watching the video, and remember to make RC your speed.